My name is Linka Guček, and I'm here today as a representative of the TWON project. Today also with us is Professor Rettinger, which will be part of the panel later. And what I'll be describing now is online social networks. So in the TWON project, our main focus was to develop a digital twin of the online social networks. And here you can see the list of our partners. We are covering everything from the technical perspectives to lots of social science partners, then also our use cases, and yes. So the overall idea of TWON is to study the potential harmful effects of online social networks on democratic debates. And how to do that? We really aimed to simulate and test how different platform mechanics shape democratic debate by creating platforms that enable us that. And why is that important? Because online social networks really nowadays dominate the public discourse, and a lot of effects that we are seeing in the social networks, like polarization, radicalization, misinformation, algorithmic bias, are all very problematic things. And if we can have an environment when we can really simulate how this is happening, this is then enabling us to really understand it better, and not just understand it, but then actually build a resilience for the future and educate, increase the literacy of the citizens. So in this presentation, I will go through the three things that we kind of really focused on a lot. And we first started off the project with designing a platform to actually run case studies with real users, with real users and agents. And this really allowed us to measure and understand how users are behaving and interacting with the posts on specific research questions that we were interested in. And with this knowledge, then we were able to start with the next phase, which is running the large-scale simulations, because also we got the data and all the calibration parameters that we were then able to start with the large-scale simulations. But in parallel, a lot of effort also is going into increasing the literacy and building resilience about social media through different citizens labs that we are doing, and a lot of different demonstrators that are really helping to explain a little bit more technical details of how the social media's networks are running, and how these ranking algorithms or choices of networks and designs are really then shaping the opinions of users. And I will now present each of these outputs separately. So let's start with the use case study platform. We designed a replica of a social network that you would see in both the desktop and the mobile version. And we created in a way that we have really a lot of different features that we can either turn on, turn off. We can measure really everything what users are doing in the social network, and we can then adapt this for different case studies, and to really understand the context of our users and where they're coming from. We also then created lots of pre and post service studies that are then enabling us to better understand what our users were thinking before and what they are thinking after they have went through some of these case studies. On the right side, you can see listed 4 of the case studies that we kind of did at the moment. We still have some more planned. First was like a test study just to see how this complex system is really responding, where we had agents and the real humans. Then we created 2 case studies for Germany on the topic of vaccination, where we were pre-bunking misinformation and communicating statistical uncertainty in scientific information. And then the last one was disinformation in the Ukrainian war that we did together with our Serbian partners and the STA from Slovenia. What this allowed us was to really also collect the data on how users are behaving, and then also we obviously answered some of the research questions that we had, and then we were able to use this data to train the large language models that then enabled us to go into the large-scale simulations. We also collected some other data from Twitter that really then allowed us to fine-tune these agents and calibrate the mechanics of the digital twins. And our initial idea was only to have one platform, but then we saw that there were really different needs for what was happening, and so we designed a couple of them, some for really straightforward configuration, which you can really very fastly experiment. Then where you have a platform that enables you the human-agent interaction, and then a very highly adaptable tone-based simulation platform where you can really play with plugging in the agents and the different network dynamics. Here on the image, you can see approximately how this process runs. We first need the data collection and pre-processing, as I said earlier, the data that we collected. Then we are training the models, and in the next phase, then simulations can start. If you want to run a simulation, we need similar elements that we also have in the real social networks. So we need something that is generating our network. We need ranker services that are determining which posts one will see earlier and later. And then we need the agents that are actually creating the content based on what they were trained on. And next to that, then we also need different evaluation matrices. Here is an example of a sentiment analysis, but also several other evaluation matrices have been developed. And now we can really run these simulations well for different scales, and this is still an ongoing process. As I said earlier, it's not just about showing these very technical things that can be very fast, a lot of things for a regular user. And so to make it more approachable and to really foster debates regarding how social networks are affecting society as such. Our dissemination partners are really very active in organizing citizens' labs that bring together different experts, and through different discussions and workshops conduct lots of these thought experiments for more democratic open social networks. And then also in June, we organized the first workshop on semantic generative agents in the scope of a ESWC conference, and that was also a good success. And to reach even wider audience, we created several demonstrators. These demonstrators kind of serve like small playgrounds where one can play with either rankers and agents in so-called microtvoni, where one can play with different networks and how users are connected between each other and how that is affecting the behavior in macrotvoni. Then we were really one of our partners will really put a lot of effort into understanding the ethics consideration when building this kind of very open mechanics. So should this be really open for everyone, or should it be maybe a little bit more closed, regulated by something? And you can explore that in the demonstration of the Ethics 20. Just yesterday, actually, when we had the executive board meeting, our partners presented the Twonderland, which is an interactive upgrade of the Micro20 here. So it's a lot of demonstrators. And then also we have this, the last one, it's called Between the Lines. And this is a platform that measures potential bias and disinformation in news outlets. So for now, it's configured for Slovenia, but it's also expandable for other languages. To summarize, the online social networks have really become the infrastructure of the public life, and they are shaping debates, identity, and influence. And as tech oligarchs of the most common ones have their mechanics behind closed walls. Initiatives like TWON are really important to able to test the policy scenarios, to evaluate different platform design choices, and anticipate democratic risks under real-world dynamics. Here, when you can actually simulate them to see what is happening. Here you have again listed all the things that are very hopefully that are tangible and can be also then used for other projects, together with what maybe I didn't mention before are the agents and the data sets, and really the know-how of how design decisions are shaping the open social networks, for which also some more publications are planned. So with this, I would like to thank you for your attention, and you can find more information online.